When I was 17, I ran away from home and from everything I had ever known. I was sick and tired, living in a town filled with narrow minds and hey, they used to laugh at me.
Hello, 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 and thank you so much for tuning in to A Spoonful of Comfort. I am Claudrine Jackson. I am your host for A Spoonful of Comfort, reminding you and me that a spoonful of comfort is the minimum amount of comfort that we can give someone, and that everyone has a spoonful of comfort. I have two very special guests here, and I'll be introducing them to you in a minute because they have a lot of comfort for you. But I want to say thank you to the people who have donated to the Purvis Jackson Autism Foundation through Facebook, through the Network for Good. We are blessed to have people with kind hearts who care about the less fortunate. And as I say, I am one of the more fortunate. And God wants those of us who are more fortunate to take care of the less fortunate. Of course, I never realized that till I became the parent of a child who was less fortunate. But he knows nothing about any of the accomplishments of his father or anything that I'm doing. But it fuels me to continue to try to help lower income children with handicaps. The Purvis Jackson Jr. Autism Foundation. You can reach us at Post Office Box 04422, Detroit, Michigan 48204. And speaking about comfort, I want to introduce you to my two guests today, who the topic that they have is something that is really necessary and will give you comfort. But before I introduce them, I want to tell you a short story about life insurance, a true story. By my husband being an entertainer and us being the more well-off family members, when somebody in the family died, they always looked at us to bury them. So after we buried the fourth person, I had a talk with his family, and I said, you're going to have to get life insurance because we can't afford to continue to bury people. And since then, they've done better, but it costs us quite a bit. And these people here that I'm going to introduce you to, they can save you from that kind of situation. Next to me is Harriet Cosby, who is with Money Management and Solutions. And next to her is Ife Nabawi, Miss Love.
Yes.
Her first name, Ife, means love.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's an honor to have you two on the show today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So welcome.
So they'll have some information for you.
Yes.
So we'll talk about insurance first.
Okay.
And the name of the insurance company is Senior Life Insurance Company. Is that the correct name?
Yes, it is.
Now, how is it different from other companies?
Well, Senior Life been around since 1970. But what makes them different from other companies is that we're able to include your merchandise within your insurance policy. The merchandise is top of the line merchandise, 18 gauge steel caskets with the fiberglass vault and headstones. So what we like to do is help cut the cost, the funeral costs of people. So by locking in the price, a discount price of $3,500 for all three objects, and I'm telling you, the top of the line. We have the fiberglass vault, which is really important in that if you're in the cemetery and you have a flood like they did down south, and the caskets was just floating, and in some instances the vaults that we get from the cemeteries, they're concrete with holes in it so that the water could drain out of it. Now, we don't really know that because once we put them into the ground, we go on about our business. But water is able to seep into the vault, which in turn gets to the caskets and kind of destroys the casket. So with the fiberglass vault, it seals the water out, and if it was a flood, the vault would float, okay, and keep the casket intact. The caskets are $1,500. They're beautiful. They're top of the line because a lot of times we want to put our loved ones away decent,
Right.
but we also want to put them away with less cost. And what we find is that insurance policies should be left to your beneficiary to live off of once you take care of the final arrangements, okay? But what actually happens is when you take your policy into the funeral home, no matter what it is, they design the program based on your policy.
Okay.
So what we want to do is help people to save and also put their loved one away the way they would like to, okay? We have urns, we have the casket, the headstones, and the vault. And then when we come out and talk with you, we kind of lay out the plan for you, give you an idea of what your funeral costs will cost without the casket. Because at the funeral home, when you don't buy their casket, they charge you a la carte. And a la carte will push the price up. Can't push it too far up, but it pushes it up.
Right.
And then we have our equipment that's shipped to you in 24 hours. The headstone is shipped to the cemetery within 48 hours. The thing with our headstones is that we're not charging you for any letters, no, not even the stroke of a pen. But when you go to the cemetery and you get your headstone, you got to pay for every comma, period, and letter. So we're just here to try to help cut that cost and keep your funeral decent, high class.
Now, I know that this is not everybody's favorite subject, including mine, but it's a necessary something to take care of. As I told you with my experiences, it cost us quite a bit to put people away. And if you take care of it yourself, then you know exactly that they're doing it your way. And if you don't want to deal with it, but it's something that's important for you to deal with. Now,
Yes.
can you tell us about the legacy plan?
Okay, the legacy plan is where we're working with Senior Life. The legacy plan is where the merchandise comes in. Senior Life and Legacy Assurance works together. You're able to assign your merchandise out of your policy, okay? And so we have a direct relationship with them. So that legacy plan is what we're talking about with the merchandise. But what makes Senior Life so special is that we work together in unison to help bring that cost down. And I mean, we bring that cost down.
Can you give us the information of if anyone is interested in reaching you, how they can go about reaching you?
Yes, well, you know, Senior Life, I'm quite sure out there in the listening audience, you done heard of Senior Life because we have several commercials and we're in 40 different states. Well, I am one of the local representatives for Senior Life in the Detroit, Michigan area, along with my partner here, Miss Harriet Cosby, and Mr. Nolly Jackson, who is our manager. And we have other people that work with us, but we represent the Detroit district, the Michigan area. And so you will call me. My name is Miss Love, 653-9215, area code 313. And I will be glad to sit down and share with you what we have. I think you'll be very pleased, and especially after listening to you. And I'm so glad that you brought that up because you don't have to do it like that anymore. So all you have to do is just call me.
All
And
right.
I'll show you the way.
All right. Thank you, darling. And we need that.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
I also want to give Miss Harriet Cosby a chance to explain her business. Is it money
Money strategy
money strategies
and associates.
and associates?
Yes.
And you're with Senior Life too, aren't you?
Yes,
Because
yes,
we
ma'am.
want to know about health.
Yes.
Is health a factor in
Yes.
any of this?
Yes,
Okay.
in fact, I'm with many insurance companies, and Senior Life, one of the reasons that I'm very interested at this point in my life of Senior Life is because even at our age, they're very competitive with other companies. You know, for instance, I was able to get a good price for my insurance policy because, of course, you know, if you're going to try to sell a policy to someone, at least you can buy the policy, at least.
Right.
So you can tell them the good news. But health is not a factor. In fact, they have so many different plans, and a lot of companies that would be extremely expensive is not as expensive because Senior Life is a company, as the name implies, Senior Life, they're for seniors. And also, what is Money Strategies and Associates? Oh, let's go back to the legacy plan because
Okay.
that's important.
Okay.
The legacy plan helped my cousin out 3 years ago when she passed because what they do, they call the different funeral homes
Okay.
and give you the best deal. You might say, well, I want you to call this funeral home, that funeral home, this funeral home. They will call around because you're too busy trying to make accommodations, obituaries with the funeral home and the church, and for them to be able to call different funeral homes to let you know what is the best way to go. It was very good for me because that's one less thing I had to do. Now, what is Money Strategies and Associates? Well, like I mentioned, we're licensed with a lot of companies. Senior
Right.
Life is one
Right.
of them. And what's nice about Money Strategies and Associates, you've heard of so many people that die without a will or trust. Well, we're partnered with a company, myself, Noli, and Ife, called Financial Education Services, FES.
Okay.
And we can provide you a will, a trust, and power of attorney for only $500. A lot of trusts, they want $2,000 and $3,000. They want so much money for wills, but the advantage of that is that you can get something to get started. Now, if you want to go to the attorney afterwards for the $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 will, fine. But at least you have something in place.
And it's so important to get this in place ahead of time because if you pass away without a will, it goes to probate, and then it may be 2 or 3 years before it's straightened out. You don't want to have to deal with probate. Like I said, this is nobody's favorite subject, but it's a necessary subject. And there's a joke, I don't know if you heard the joke about why cemeteries are so popular. Because people are dying to get in. So
That's right. That's right.
people are dying every day.
That's
And
right.
you never know. I just attended a funeral a couple days ago for a 42-year-old. So death has no age. You don't know when it's coming, so you never know when you'll be attending a funeral. I would like to know a little bit about both of you, about your backgrounds, if you want to share that with us.
Okay, first I'd like to say that Senior Life do cover everyone from 0 to 85.
Oh, that's important.
Okay, yeah,
Yes.
0 to 85, and there is no pre-existing conditions that we do not insure. And one other thing that I like about it is that we are able to insure our loved ones that's incarcerated. Okay, so we can get to that later. I've been into the insurance business for 22 years. Mr. Nolie Jackson discovered me. I always have to give him those props because I didn't know anything about life insurance. And when he approached me about the life insurance, I just said, okay, whatever, okay. But I followed through, and it's been 22 years later. I love it. I love what I do because I'm servicing the people, and it's very meaningful. I work to serve the people, and then my money comes after that. I like to educate the people because once we're educated, then we can make intelligent decisions, okay? And the one thing about the funeral arena is because we don't like dealing with it, we're afraid to deal with it, and we wait to the last minute to have to deal with it. We're grieving. We have to answer 168 questions, and we just, at a point our mind just shuts down. So with, like Miss Harriet said, with Legacy Plan, they take a lot of that out the way, where they'll make a lot of those decisions. Once you tell them what your wishes are, then they go forth to fulfill your wishes. We, on the other hand, as agents, we take you all the way up to the point of where when you get to the funeral home, you know exactly what you're dealing with. So we try to deal with our beneficiaries because the insured is buying the policy to keep the burden off of the primary beneficiary. But the primary beneficiary needs to know what that insured is doing for them. So when they go to the funeral home, they already have it laid out.
Now, I'm still not clear. Are these related money management, Money Strategies and Associates? You work together?
Money Strategies and Associates is my company.
Yes.
Okay, and you wanted us to give a little background about ourselves.
Yes.
Okay, I grew up in Hamtramck, Michigan, believe it, not that far from here. And I went to Wayne State University, got my degree there. Then I got my MBA from University of Phoenix. I've been doing this for 38 years, and as I told you in the lobby, I was 2 years old when I started.
All right.
Okay. So I have quite a few clients, and what's the advantage of being an independent broker like Ife and Nolie and myself? You can be licensed with more than one company. So that's the advantage of the plan.
Now, did you give us your contact information?
In fact, let me do that. 248-796-1609. That's 248-796-1609. And my website, which has a lot of financial information, is moneystrategies.org. That's moneystrategies.org. And one other thing, if I may, I was a caregiver for my father, my brother, and my cousin. And Detroit Area Agency on Aging, for those of you who are caregivers, and now statistically, we are dying before the people we're taking care of.
Yes. That's right.
Call Area Agency on Aging if you're in Oakland County, Detroit Area Agency on Aging if you're in Detroit. They will give you free help as long as the person does not make over $2,200 a month. So take advantage of that, and also make sure you have a Medicare supplement plan or Advantage plan, because your Medicare will pay 80% and the supplement or Advantage plan will pay that 20%, which can be phenomenal if you're hospitalized or have a real bad problem with your health.
And I know we've been giving you a lot of information.
Yes.
You can reach me, Claudine Jackson, by Facebook or by email, which is Jackson Claudine, CLAUDREEN, Jackson Claudine at sbcglobal.net. And if you have questions, of course, they have the answers to the questions. But if you have a question for me, I'll have to contact them to get the answers for you, because I wouldn't want to mislead you. But what they are doing is extremely important. And I grew up a long time ago, and black people did not take care of this kind of business. We were some of the least likely. And I remember when people would say, "Oh, that insurance man, let me run from him. I ain't interested." But the people that weren't interested were the people that left the job to people like me.
Yeah, pass the hat.
Yes, yes.
That's right. That's right. And so what we're doing with Senior Life, we're just making it a little easier. Okay, as many companies out there, and we all sell the same thing just about, but we're the only company at this time, and as I know, in our area that offers the merchandise that really helps put together
that
a good
package plan.
That's
that
right.
package plan, that's really, really important.
Yes.
And price, the price is good.
Yes, yes, yes.
Because these funerals can really cost you a great deal of money.
Well, what I realize, and no disrespect to the funeral homes or the cemetery, the package, most of it, the price, the expense comes from the casket that you buy. Okay? And the difference with Senior Life is it don't matter what style, what model, all the caskets are $1,500. So that's what helps eliminate. So let's say your casket is $5,000, but if you get it from Senior Life, it's only $1,500. So how much money do you save off the rip? And then when you go to the cemetery, your fiberglass vault is $750. But when you get to the cemetery, it's going to be anywhere from $1,125. Then you got to do the plot, the opening and closing. So that.
Now, this is a question I've never known the answer to for a child, and you don't want to think about children passing away, but they do. Is it the same price for a child's casket as it is for an adult?
I would think so. Don't quote me on that, but I think so because we do oversized caskets.
Oh.
And they're the same price.
Oh, my goodness.
All the
That's
caskets.
important.
Yes, it is.
I just learned about oversized caskets in recent years because we have so many oversized people.
That's right.
And they found out that some of the caskets did not, the person could not fit into. So that's really important information.
Yes. So all the caskets, the high class caskets, because we're talking about 18 gauge steel caskets.
Oh, right.
That seals the water out.
Oh,
that seals. So we talking about top of the line. And a lot of times when we go to the funeral home, when we get our special package, sometimes those caskets are 20 gauge and they don't seal up. Okay, they may look nice, but they don't seal up. Ours look nice, seal up. I mean, it's just beautiful. I done talked about caskets so much because I'm one of those that don't want to think about it either.
Right.
And
Okay.
one other thing I'd like to mention before we leave, and I know we only have a few minutes. You need to go call the cemeteries and find out how much they charge for plots, either before the person passes or afterwards, because my cousin wanted to be in Elmwood. Elmwood was a little more expensive than the others. So you really kind of need to shop around, so to speak.
Well, my husband passed away 11 years ago, 1808. And I was really surprised at, well, we had insurance, but I was really surprised at what the plots cost and what the crypts cost, and it just really,
That's right.
really surprised me. So I took care of mine when I was taking care of his. And
right.
I said my husband was a member of the Spinners singing group, and there's another spinner who's buried. They're both near each other, almost like bookends, and we didn't plan it that way at the cemetery. But my good friend who was married to Bobby of the Spinners, she got her plot when he passed away, a crypt. And she has passed away since then. And I just never thought that we'd be putting her in there so soon after we purchased it.
That's right.
So I want to share with you my poem that I wrote before we go.
Okay.
And I wrote this poem a year ago when I first turned 79. And I wouldn't read it.
79?
Yes, I will be 80 next week. So now I have the courage to read my poem because I won't be 79 much longer.
Okay.
I'm 79 and I feel fine, and that's a sign that I still have time, that God's not through with me or you. So what can we do to start anew? To help the situation, to make a better nation, we need an education. We need a revelation of how to do our part to never break a heart. It's time for us to start. In the future, for me, my destiny is to help and to bless, and I will do no less than God's plan for me, to walk in the light and to do what is right. Now is the time to give God praise, and I will be praising him for the rest of my days. Hallelujah. I'm turning 80 and I still have a future. So we've done all this talk about what happens after you pass away, but remember, you're still alive now.
That's right.
So do some good things while you are alive. So thank you so much for being guests on A Spoonful of Comfort, and I hope this show gave you a little comfort.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You so much for having us.
Thank you.
When I was 17, I ran away from home and from everything I had ever known. I was sick and tired